hero.
Have you any hobbies?
My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
Hobbies are healthy. They teach you things.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ref's Law is dead. Ref's Law is dead. You know what? Before we jump into this, I want to take a moment to thank Destroying, because he destroyed Ref's Law. Maybe it was in episode 100 Miracles, Zachy boy. I don't know. But after nearly 3.5 long years, the Panthers and the Houston team won in the same weekend. Will it last for long? I don't know if the Panthers can keep up, but I'll tell you, boy, did I take a shellacking on not picking the Roughnecks in our daily picks, in our weekly picks last week. And I'll never double second guess CJ, the Genius Johnson, ever again. I mean, did you see him out there? He might as well put on the pads, because that team was on such a different level. But we have a whole big week. We're also
I feel
joined.
like beating the Memphis Showboats by the skin of your teeth is not a different level, but that's just me.
And to be quite honest, like,
last year,
the Showboats Ref's Law actually worked out really well for the Panthers last year. So I'm happy to see it go, but at the same time, a little sad to see it go.
Not me. I need a win. I just need a win no matter what. If you guys get a win, I'm fine with that now. I'm totally fine with that. You hear that, football gods? I'm fine with it. But we got a whole show ahead of us. Once again, this week, our man, Jace Sternberger, is joining the panel. And I know, I've already seen the chat gibbering and jabbering. So I'm sure we got a lot to talk about this week. I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about as well. But we got a stacked panel. I think we need to get at least like 17 or 18 panelists up in this bad boy, though. Maybe 19. If we can get to 20, send in your applications now, baby. Sign us up. But let's go around.
We got free Zoom benefits.
Yeah. Dude, Zoom Pro, baby. And this does not expire in June. I'll tell you that. This is at least a 1 year. It might even be a lifetime subscription, baby. Don't count it out. But let's go around the panel that did join us this week. A surprise panelist, Jake. I didn't see you here before. You said it was 70 degrees out, and I said, okay, well, then that's a guaranteed. That grill's going, but here you are.
It's way too windy.
So how are you feeling?
I was out running errands, so. I mean, not good.
Not good? You got the win.
Yeah, but it needed the YouTuber to miss a field goal to secure that win. I mean, it wasn't the performance I was expecting. I mean, I was also expecting Michigan to lose, so I guess I should be happy. But I don't know. This team, the last week, did not inspire me, and then the play on yesterday wasn't super inspiring either for most of the game. So I'm going with it. It's a dub, but could be better. Get the thick of it coming up here.
Let's see, because I got a feeling. I don't know. Maybe I've done a lot of shows with you, Zach. But I feel like you got a more optimistic take on this game. But how are you feeling this weekend?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My panel was listed as Zach. I'm afraid that I was thrust into a football game. You see, I'm Jet Branson. I'm an IndyCar specialist. I just wanted to let you know that Zach wanted me on the show today. So I'll give you my best take because I don't clearly know what I'm talking about here for this one. But what I can tell you is that I think Zach would have been happy that he basically told me that he was okay with watching 3 teams blow up and take losses and picks so that he can have a law die over the weekend. That's what he told me, by the way. So you know what? If it took movements of God in 3 games, he's completely fine with a win in 1. So,
well,
I give him a thumbs up.
See, people always give us a hard time. They say, "Oh, you only bring on spring football panelists." Here we are, expanding beyond. Good to have you on. Well, maybe we'll dive into a little bit of cars. I don't know much about.
Don't worry. I'll get my best shot at talking football. It's okay. I still follow. It's my secondary sport. But no, IndyCar. I can talk some Long Beach.
That's
some good times. Stingray Rob's a great character. You should check him out. I'll stop.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'll let you guys have your time. It's okay.
Mr. Thorne, you showed up. The only reason you showed up is to shame me about not hanging up my ref shirt, which is still in the background on the floor. But how are you doing this week? Big week.
Yeah, 3-0, DC. Obviously there's been a lot of tumultuous, off the field stuff, losing coaches left and right. But they're just a sound football team, and they're going to be a tough out the rest of the way. And so I'm excited about that. Excited, my team's good again. Last year was kind of tough, but other than that, just excited to be on the show.
Mr. Larson, again, I don't know how you're still alive. You've been all over the place. You were just telling me your plans for the upcoming weekend. You're going to be all over the place. How you doing this week?
You know what? The UFL is kicking, so am I. I could probably complain about a bunch of things, but I'm not because the UFL's here, and I'm excited for week 4. You know what? I'm really thankful that the final 3 games this week proved to be good ones. Because I know some people were a little, there are a lot of people that agree with me. There are also some people that were telling me I was being a little bit too negative about that Arlington-Birmingham game on Friday night. But look, the action hasn't been phenomenal offensively the first couple weeks. So to see at least some of these games, San Antonio and Michigan go down to the wire, and then DC and St. Louis wasn't beautiful offensively, but at least we had some offense. So it was good to see. And even Memphis and Houston was relatively entertaining as well. So I'm happy about that. I think it's trending well for the league, and hopefully we see that continue to improve.
All right, Ducky. I said it before the show. I'm going to say it after. What is going on with you and this DC social person? You told me your girlfriend's a pilot. I don't believe it. I think your girlfriend sits behind a keyboard or whatever you want to call it, and works for the DC. Because I'm telling you, you showed up in DC. All of a sudden, they're up in I won't say your DMs, but they're being reply guys to your posts. They're shaming not everybody on this panel, but a good amount of this panel on our picks last week. What the hell is going on, Ducky?
I don't know. I think they love me. You can't spell Ducky without DC. That's all I'm gonna say.
I will say they must not have watched the show last year. So because of all teams, I was actually surprised. That was the one I was like, oh, they must not know the bit. Okay, sign them up. But Ducky, you're smart. Roll with it. Roll with it. You know what? DC, I gave them an extra point in our power rankings because of that one. I was like, yeah, you know what? They may have swooned me a little bit. I am not mad at it. But we got a big week ahead of us. Before we get into the power rankings, I do want to share something because I think this is important. This was my favorite play of the weekend. Let me see if this works here. Can everyone see my screen here?
QB1.
Let's just see. Look at this. Oh my God, dude, the wrist action on that. Let's just let that marinate in the background for a second. James, so I know when this happened, you immediately went in the chat and you're like, did anybody see that catch? And I think right as you said that, I saw this pop up on my screen. I was like, well, I saw you. Now, tell us, James, how miraculous was the catch? Because I got...
Not miraculous at all. The ball hit the ground and just bounced into my hands, but I thought it was cool.
Well, here's the story I heard. It was similar to Ducky's tweet, where from the sidelines, you were running from the 30 to the 20 to the 10. Camera in one hand, leaped, grabbed the ball out of the other, and then right as the camera panned to you, not even worried, not even dropping any sweat, just leaving your wrist. Now,
I mean, all I need to do is toss that bitch like a basketball, and we're chilling.
Look at arm cannon. Right there.
There hasn't been a QB that good to come out of Michigan since Tom Brady.
You can be a tire carrier with those
Hey,
arms.
I'd like to point out to anybody critiquing my form is that when you have a camera hanging off your shoulder, you don't really want to actually put your shoulder into the throw, because then the camera might fall off your shoulder. So that was kind of my reasoning behind the form that I decided to throw the ball. But,
so let me ask you.
I thought you were doing a Danny Etley impression.
I think ref froze on us.
Oh, no.
He said he had a question, and then he disappeared. What a shame.
Can't have the referee freeze. It's bad in football.
This means that we can commit as many penalties as we want, though. So who's going to start cursing up a storm?
That's a good point.
I'm going to do a false start in the final 2 minutes.
Here I am. I don't know what happened to my screen while I was gone. Hopefully it showed it. Yeah, it's going to be one of those days with my internet connection. I got a feeling. So let's just jump right into...
Ref, what was your question?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Damn it.
Rain fog?
Oh, yeah, Yeah, my internet went out. Well, anyway, did any teams acquire about your skills?
No, but I had a girl compliment my catch on the sideline, so... that counts for something.
Sign her up. Sign her up. Well, I think this is a good reason to jump into our power rankings, which I don't know, and maybe we'll get some thoughts on this a little bit later. Is there anybody that didn't vote DC at number one?
No, it's unanimous.
Was it?
DC is the second team since the beginning of last year that we've ever voted as the unanimous number one. St. Louis, Michigan, San Antonio have not been unanimous. It's been Birmingham and DC.
Look at that.
I think I would have voted DC based on what Zach was telling me. But I know Zach wasn't very happy about that, but he said that I could go and put an opinion on that.
I think what's really interesting about this season is where last year when Birmingham was, undefeated and they were at the top of our power rankings, it pretty much unanimously felt like they were the best team. And even though there was some competition between like St. Louis and San Antonio, like for the most part, it felt like Birmingham was in control. Whereas this year, yes, DC is unanimously first, but at the same time, I'm still not incredibly confident in them being like the championship team. And it really comes down to just the fact that I'm not confident in their offense. I mean, Jordan Tiamu, I don't know what in the world was going on with him this Sunday. And yeah, did he have some nice throws? For sure. But, I mean, he missed like 3 or 4 big-time throws that DC could have really used. I mean, I don't know how he missed Chris Rowland, who was wide open in the end zone. It's like DC could have easily had like 40, 45 points in this game if Tiamu would have actually been accurate with the ball.
Yeah, we had a... Go on. Yes.
Yeah, so I definitely agree I think at this point we kind of know what Teamu is and what he isn't.
Right.
We've seen, kind of coming into the season, I don't know how much I said on this show that like the things that matter are putting a good offensive line in front of them, which they have. The offensive line's been pretty great this season, but also getting him talented players that can, at the receiver and running back position to elevate what is kind of, Teamu's kind of that point guard kind of quarterback, where, he's not necessarily gonna, he's just gonna get the ball there on time. And he's going to have some errant throws, but mostly going to be accurate. And you just need guys who are going to make plays off of that. And this year, they've had a little bit of that, but they haven't had a lot of that. And I think you look back at 2023, you had Lucky Jackson, Chris Blair, Josh Hammond as your 3 wide receivers. You had a core of receivers there that were really solid. And then you had Abram Smith playing at the highest level. And right now,
Mike King too, De'Aaron King. So,
yes, for sure.
Honestly, he still should have been QB1. I know everyone's going to disagree with that, but like I rode with DC in 2023. Like King was my QB1.
Yeah. I think my concern is just that what is this, like 3 games in a row now where he's been at 50% completion or under? That's a problem. And
that my point sorry.
Go ahead, Thorne. Take it away.
My point with that my point with that was the receivers right now have been a huge part of that too. We've seen, and like especially this week, you look at the turnovers that he had. A lot of them weren't his fault. Especially, I think of the one, I forget. I think it was like third quarter, where
the overthrow to Chris Payton-Jones.
Yes, that was a route was ran wrong. Like you look at it, 2 guys are running an out route. Someone's supposed to be taking the flag route, and he's expecting that guy to be there. And so much of this offense is timing. And Teamu is going to throw to a spot that he expects a receiver to be at. And if the receiver's not there, it can get really tragic, especially in those slant routes, the glance routes as they call them, off the RPOs. Like if they're not there, it's bad. And we've seen some really bad drops. I think at this point, I would go Braylon Sanders as your starter opposite Ty Scott. I think that
he was impressive.
Cornell Powell and Jaden Mickens haven't really lived up to the hype. And if you do that, and this might be a hot take, move Deion Jackson to be the main running back and Abram more of the 2. That's your change of pace back. I think you're in a spot where DC suddenly is a little bit more dangerous in offense, and we've seen the defense can hold up their end of the bargain. And that's when you start to say, okay, how does DC go from a team that's unanimous this week, mostly because a lot of teams are still figuring it out, to like a legitimate, okay, they are by far the favorite in this league. They've got to figure some of these things out. And I think the easiest decision is just moving around the personnel a little bit. They're really close on offense. They just got to make a few adjustments, I think.
Well, I'll tell you this, they're going to have to figure out those adjustments before they go up against the Houston Roughnecks, which I'll just point out have jumped the highest amount of rankings of any team this week in their power rankings. Not 1, 2, baby. And it should have been 3. We should have been ahead of those dirty, stinking, dirty Arlington Renegades. You could argue about 7 and 8, but I guarantee you Houston 6, maybe above at 5. I think I put him at 6.
You're the biggest mover. You just can't qualify well. Is that what you're trying to say? Well, I think I understand your logic.
10
Is that what Zach would tell you to say, Jet?
No, that's a racing term for that is something from IndyCar. So he didn't tell me to say that at all.
Right on. Yeah. Houston at least is looking somewhat competent. I think really with the backbone for Houston is the fact that their defense has shown a lot of improvements over the last couple of weeks. Like after week 1, I was really worried about how this unit would kind of come together because their tackling was terrible. Their guys just kind of look slow. There are missed assignments. There are missed gaps. They've really cleaned that up. I think the DBs have been playing much better football. They were able to kind of relatively keep Jonathan Adams contained, which I was impressed with. I really like Keenan Isaac. And Leon O'Neal, I think, is an early candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's leading the Houston Roughnecks in tackles. You watch his film, he's flying around everywhere. He's got like 22 tackles. He's got a couple tackles for loss, has a couple PBUs, had that big pick 6 that completely changed the game. And I mean, Memphis, I still felt like had momentum a little bit in that third quarter, even after the Houston touchdown. But once Leon O'Neal had that pick six, that was basically game over from there on out. So I think O'Neal, he keeps playing like that. You've got him leading. Now up front, can you have a couple guys step up? Tayshaun Bauer has been really, really good since he signed with the team. Like he's been, I originally thought that Bauer might be one of those guys that a little bit of an older NFL vet that might play on the team for a couple weeks but doesn't amount to much. But he has been really impressive. He's got 2 sacks for 2 games. I like what this Houston defense is doing. Can C.J. Johnson actually run a competent offense is the real question, especially when they go up against better defenses. We'll see.
Well,
but Nolan Henderson
game.
QB1. I like that.
Nolan Henderson season, baby. The thing that we've been waiting for a while is finally coming to fruition. If Zach was here, he would agree in Michigan. Hey, settle on one quarterback, but settle on the right one. It feels like we might be doing a little bit of that in Houston here. I'm very excited to see. Now we're going to talk about it a little bit, but they have a tough target against them this week. They're playing the Stallions, which if any team's going to beat them, and I got to get this in before our guest joins, it's going to be the Roughnecks. I mean, they got a storied past with Houston, and Houston sometimes seems to get the best of them. But I'll get that out now. But I think the more, Marcus Sims going to have another week under his belt practicing with the team. Nolan Henderson in the game from the beginning gives you a little bit more ability, gets the ball out, potentially make him the target. I don't know, man. If Birmingham continues making mistakes out there, we could win this game this weekend. 10-0 is a reality. C.J. Johnson will be.
We do need to talk about Birmingham because they are quite possibly the biggest anomaly in the league right now. I don't really know what to make of their offense. It's very strange to see a Skip Holtz-led offense look this inept. And it also doesn't make a ton of sense just based on the talent they do have and the fact that they have a lot of returning pieces. But part of it goes back to the offensive line still has some holes. They have not been playing phenomenal. And Matt Corral, I don't understand, sometimes he just does not look like Matt Corral. Or maybe he does, and that's why he is Matt Corral, and that's why he's in the UFL. But, some of his decision-making on Friday night made absolutely 0 sense. They were balls, he would zip a pass across the middle for 15 yards. They're starting to get momentum. And then he'll just loft the pass 10 yards over his receiver's head and it's incomplete or picked off. And I don't know. It's so strange to me because I thought Birmingham had the strongest quarterback room in the league heading into the season. And after seeing what Magoo did against DC and then what Corral did against Arlington and Michigan too, it's not like he played phenomenal against Michigan outside of the deep pass to Deion Kane. I don't know. It's odd. And Birmingham has no ground game. And that is what worries me more. Is Skip Holtz before the season, and I asked him about, what was your decision in bringing back the same 3 backs and not bringing in anybody else? And he's like, well, I've won with these 3 guys before. We're going to keep winning with them. That strategy can work to an extent, but I still feel like you need to have a little bit of turnover. You got to give other guys a chance because, I don't know. To me, when this league continues to get better and better each year, especially defensively, I don't know if that's a winning strategy.
I think when the ref says something about Houston, it's okay, you take it with a grain of salt, but I actually am kind of with him completely with this. I think Houston is putting it together at the right time, and Birmingham still looks like they haven't really figured it out yet. I think the big thing that, I agree with a lot of what he said about, I think Nolan Henderson gives you a shot. Marcus Sims another week. You already saw him getting involved on a short week, but there's going to be more of the offense that he's going to be involved in. You already have Kiki Chisholm and Justin Hall that you can rely on. Now you have another target there. Also, you get your left tackle back. Zach Banner was out last week. They were starting Isaiah Battle, who they signed off the street. So, that offense is kind of starting to put it together a little bit. The run game is still a little bit of an issue. They did run it better this week than they have in the first 2 weeks.
Without Kirk Merritt, which was really something. Zaquandre White, I like what he's doing. He's got some burst and he plays aggressive, and I think that kind of fits the gritty culture that C.J. Johnson's building there.
Oh, guys, Zach did leave me a note on his computer if you guys brought up Houston in this light. He said, quote, if anyone starts drinking the Kool-Aid, let them know. Remember who is coaching this team. Also that they did this week 1. That's what it says on the note right here, by the way.
I agree with Zach.
Just
Good note, Zach.
quote. he didn't leave me anything else, but I think he does not like the Houston talk because I think you guys got baited week 1 on the same thing.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to pull up that clip of CJ from this past week.
Houston's just not. They got very lucky
Can you
with
link
2
me
interceptions.
The truth of it is I still, you'll see it. I picked Birmingham to win. I still think they're gonna win, but I think this is gonna be like the spread's probably gonna be gigantic on that game. Like I think it's gonna be 8.5 whatever points. It's gonna be big. I don't see it that way. I think Houston has a fighter's chance. I think the defense is playing well. I was gonna bring up Bauer if you didn't. I think he's been a huge piece in that. They actually have a real pass rush again. He's been incredible. He's been kind of the Chris Odom replacement, and they're just kind of playing with house money at the moment. So no one thinks they're gonna win this game. I'm not gonna go as far as to pick them outright, but if they won, I wouldn't be shocked. It's just like I think right now Birmingham's in a spot where they need to find their identity still, and they looked really bad against Arlington and got lucky at the end. If it wasn't for a false start, they lose that game. I think that there's a chance. That's all I'm kind of really saying.
I think
Hey,
Jace
who
hopped on
knows?
at the perfect time because
Yeah, absolutely.
Thorne
another
over here is
friend.
saying
Awesome.
that the Houston Roughnecks are going to beat the Birmingham Stallions this
Done.
week.
Not at
so-
all what I said.
I was trying to convince
I think
Thorne
if he was on,
otherwise.
would not be happy if you did this. Is all I can keep hearing. So, man, I feel bad. He probably
Dynasty
is
is
livid right now.
over. Oh my god.
No more
Jake,
home
how's it going,
games
man?
for you guys.
How are we doing?
Welcome back. Long time no see.
Don't worry, I've been listening to the whole show. I've been hearing it.
Sweet.
I've been listening to,
Oh no.
I've been listening to everything.
So I don't even have to say anything. I mean, you already heard what Thorne had to say.
It sounds like you're more concerned than Thorne's concerned.
I'm concerned about your offense. I'm not concerned about your defense. I think your defense is good enough to beat Houston.
See, that's why I didn't talk shit. I knew you was coming
Yeah,
out.
I think overall, I think the league is getting better in general. So I think teams are starting to scheme up better. Teams are starting to play faster. I think things are going better for the league, which is great. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's because I've never since I've been here, so I'm not gonna start now. Say it's because we had a short training camp or anything, but I think chemistry does go a long way, and it's not ideal. Like I don't think anybody's being more critical of our offense than the players, but just like today, we had a self-scout day where we were up there from however long we were up there, a couple hours today, and all we did was really go over our mistakes. And like I said, we were up there from 8:30 to 12, so that's how many mistakes we were just fixing on, not taking anything away from the teams that we've played because they've all played great and they've earned everything they've done against us. But a lot of it self-inflicted, myself included. I said I costed us a touchdown last week. Matt made some throws he wishes he could take back. So you got to take that into consideration. It's not ideal. Definitely don't want to make it a constant thing, but based on the history, that's really never been an issue for me. Not that I'm gonna blow by that, but I still had 3 more quarters to play after that fumble, so I'm like, on to the next. Like that shit sucks. And like the fourth quarter when we're down by 6, I'm like, man, that touchdown would have been nice right now, or who knows how that game would have went. But yeah, I think, and I feel like sorry, I don't want to disrespect your name. Thorne, that's who was talking DC earlier, right? About how he feels like their offense is really about to like they're close.
Yeah.
I think I think there's a lot of teams that are probably getting pretty close because you can't use the whole no chemistry or no training camp. Come week 6 and 7. I think like these next 2 weeks are really going to tell because, not like being cliche, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and week 1 everybody was afraid, freaking out, saying that we were never going to be able to get a pass off because we gave up 8 sacks in week 1, and we're at week 4 and we've given up 8 sacks, and so the O-line's showing improvement. I'm sure every offense that can pull up their tape and be like, oh, we're one cut away or we're one. Ours none of our stuff right now is physical or athleticism wise. Um, like I said, it's all stuff that some of us shouldn't be doing, being here this long. Like me, myself included. Like if I'm supposed to get 5 yards on a route, I can't round it to 7 because I'm getting in the next guy's window, and that's messing up to Matt's throwing angle. So it's like stuff like that. Like you really just have to we have to hold each other accountable to, and just clean it up if we want to be the team we can be. Unfortunately, even though everybody's acting like we are 0-3, we are 2-1, 1-0 in the division. I think we had a double-digit win in our division. Who was supposed to beat us? Apparently to everybody. So I like our chances, but I definitely don't think that we should. No one wants to maintain this level of play by any means, and I don't know. I think it's good for us. I'd rather go through these growing pains right now than go through a slump, kind of like we did last year from like week 9 to 11, maybe. Like we scored 25 in the championship, but it wasn't like a offensive showcase, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the offense, that's kind of, where some of the concerns are with some of the sloppy play. And like you said, a lot of it is self-inflicted wounds, right? I mean, there's been penalties, there's been bad throws, there's been, fumbles of your own, and just things that, like, haven't really fallen into place where it's like, it's more so you guys just beating yourselves rather than other teams beating you. So, like, kind of what's the approach for Birmingham moving forward to try to, like, correct some of these mistakes? And where do you think some of them are coming from? Like you touched on, short training camp, just some guys just not being on the same page kind of seems like what it is.
Again, I don't want to take anything away from the teams that we've played because, like I said, every team can say that they've had mental mistakes, and like that's not an excuse. That's just every team is battling that same issue right now. Like I said, I know there's other offenses who have missed on plays, or I'm sure Manny wants to take back some of those throws that he made yesterday, and Kellen wants to take back some of the throws he made. Like we all have things that we can work on,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That's why I think football is such an interesting game. It's so unique, and you learn so much about yourself. And I've preached on and on that our identity, what helps us win games, is our camaraderie and our team chemistry. And like I wasn't here year 1 of the UFL, but all the players talked about how they were losing every game, and they would come back to win in the fourth quarter, and somehow they were 11-1, and like that looks amazing. But then you can retrospect, like Arlington was like 7 plays or 1 play each game away from being like 10-2 and playing in the championship game, and so it's like I think. And so sorry, I'm answering like 4 questions at once because I just was listening to everything you said too. Like you're talking about like the progression of the league or how the offensive stuff and rising, and it's like, is the quality down, this and that, and it's like I think the league is just getting overall more talented because it's not like a certain week in the UFL or the USFL or the XFL where it's like, oh, they're playing so and so, like they're gonna blow them out by 30. I think it's like there's so much NFL talent now on these rosters that really any team can win any given Sunday, which obviously for teams who have been riding the high horse for so long, you're just like, it's kind of a reality check. You're like, oh, not that you've been taking it lightly, but it's like, you do have a sense of comfort, and now it's like that sense of comfort really can't be there. So I think it pushes everyone, and it looks rough right now, but I promise there's a lot of positivity like in our building, and
Right.
everybody's ready for practice. I can say that.
Well,
No, for sure. I mean, and that's a good point. It's not like you're playing the New Orleans Breakers anymore, where you don't need to prepare. Like these are all teams that.
Ooh, that was a pretty nasty dig right there, James.
So,
Jokes,
like I said,
jokes. I love all my Breakers.
it is respect to the league. So like I said, you want it to be tough. Like that, everybody wins when the league is better. It's like more, you know what I'm saying? Like imagine like an NFL scout or GM watching. It's like, oh well, they're playing this one team. Like this team hasn't won a game all year, and it's like, well, hold on now. DC just beat Birmingham. Well, in Memphis, they fumbled right before half, but they gave DC everything they wanted. Again, I don't think DC played good. I would think they would agree with that. But it's like, wait, Houston just lost to Arlington by 2. Well, now Arlington just lost to Birmingham by 1, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's like it might look ugly, but at the same time, this is like Big Ten football. This is like what people at North watch anyways. So it's like you would think everybody would like this type of play. Like these are Big Ten scores, aren't they? Besides Ohio State.
Yeah. Let me just.
No one's gonna rebuttal on that one.
We just need to move the team to Iowa.
I mean, he said
that's
besides
how
Ohio
we
State.
get the viewership up.
So once you
said
say
what?
besides
For
Ohio
Iowa,
State,
by the way,
I step back.
I mean, 13-10 is a low-scoring game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
nobody
well-
cares about that game when you know you're going to win a natty. Practice game.
Yeah. That's why all your fans would rather
And then
go
be the
0
first
and 11.
ever college football team to
1-11.
win 5 straight games against.
I
the top
can't, like I
10
said,
opponent.
I can't talk. You guys watched
Didn't win
A&M
your-
this year. We were struggling to complete forward passes at times, so it's like I'm a sicko too. Like I know our offense didn't score a lot this year either, so it
sometimes
happens.
passes are tough. You know,
Right?
it can be.
Shout out Iowa.
I'll jump in to say this because, we've been following the league. I mean, since before it was even a league, we've been covering the AAF, the XFL.
I think he was covering some other
Brutal.
things too, but
That's it, guys.
brutal.
We've been
He's not there
covering those
anymore.
guys.
That's too bad.
Oh my god.
Jed, I feel like you got to take over here for your guy.
Yeah. Hey, Jace, if you were a race car, what race car would you be?
Whatever one Dynamo is in cars,
Dynamo.
the blue one,
King?
the blue
Oh,
one.
the King?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought for sure he's going to go Dale Earnhardt.
No,
I
I don't
think
know a
Ref's
lick.
back.
I don't know a lick of. Did you see the one dude? What's his name? I think he's a Houston fan. His tweets are pretty funny. Jake Trebby. No, is that
Oh,
his
Jake
name?
Tribby?
Jake Tribby, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
He's
saw
not
what
a
he
Houston
tweeted
fan.
about me. Oh, he okay. I read some of him tweeting about Houston, like cheering, supporting them, whatever. But he made a tweet about me, like just basically like, based off my appearance, like being from Oklahoma, and I'm like, that's I laugh because it's kind of true. But like just how you're asking, like, what race car? Certain things like I can't get into because I'm already fighting like redneck Oklahoma allegations every day. So there's certain things I don't even do. Like, Jace, you go hunt, you fish? No, never have in my life.
You'd be
And then he plays for
surprised.
a Bama team.
Ref,
on
you can
top
pull
of
that tweet up right now.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm already fighting allegations. So there's
Neat.
certain things I just can't get into.
Need to get you into open wheel racing. You can fight the allegations that way. It's an
But
international sport.
I've been to the dirt tracks where they race cars, and it's like, yeah, that's the good stuff.
Is Ref still gone? What the hell?
You're gonna
Yeah,
say
He
That's
came
Jason.
back and then we lost him again.
Really.
He stalled the motor. I think that's
He's
what
just
happened.
sitting
There he
there
is.
smiling all creepy.
There he is.
I'm back. Fuck you, Ducky. All right.
He's scaring me for a second.
Sounded like
Hey, there we
great
go.
in-car radio right now.
I had helmet hair too, so the hair wasn't flowing. But I'm like, dude, I look better than that.
It wasn't flowing. Oh man, Canton! Look at that! What a beautiful stadium.
Man, I do miss Canton. I miss Canton a lot.
So, Jace, do you sell used trucks?
I very well could. I'm
Sorry,
I'm
I don't know
stranger
you
to
very
Fa-
well. I'm sitting
I'm
in for
no
Zach
stranger
today.
to Facebook Marketplace.
Hey, you didn't even like that tweet.
I commented on it though. That counts.
Oh, I was talking about Ref. He didn't like it.
Oh, I was like, yeah, I can't like fully embrace him. Like I already took my L's this week.
I did not.
Ugh, it's too bad.
So are you gonna address that anymore for everybody in the chat? Because there are so many people just giving you hell about it.
The fumble or
Yeah.
the People's Gambler?
Yeah, the fumble. Did you see? Did you see what? I forget his name. Mark from the Readcast. He said something about how you're too busy on Twitter, so you fumbled it. That was
Yeah. 3 things I'm gonna say on that. One, I went back and looked at my tweets. I think I've tweeted like 6 times in the past like 2 months. Like I just
Yeah, and
retweet everything
half of them aren't even UFL related.
about football. It's like it's about
Yeah.
me talking about lame shows that I watch when my son goes to sleep. Like I'm a wannabe TV connoisseur. So that's where I was like, okay, you're kind of reaching. 2, he's never really. I guess he's a fan of the show. Like that's how
Must
he
be
saw
if
it.
he's watching it. Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe because he supports the XFL people, that when Maddie and People's Gambler, they gave me a pump, he just saw it through them. But I'm like, he's still supporting the show. So
Yeah.
I looked at it like that. But yeah, that didn't. I was just like, I just thought it was gonna be funny. Like I was gonna do a whole bit today. I literally I stay with Dion. I was literally just we were look. I don't have a football here. I guess I left it in my car or something. But I was gonna do the Friday Night Lights Tim McGraw scene, where I was gonna have my hands duct taped, and I was gonna talk to you guys with my hands duct taped to the football the whole time.
Oh my!
But I really couldn't find a football, so that's what I'm telling Dion, because Dion's laughing. I'm just like, dude, like that's what I'm saying. Anybody can get made fun of, myself included. So it's like if you're gonna do it, just you got to be funnier than what I would have done. Because me saying I have loose hands, like. I was like, all right, man.
That was such a like
I
I
was like,
troll
that's
for a
cool.
living, so it's like that was kind of like a.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, and he didn't even at me or anything. Like we're like, I don't know. I was just like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, and then my boys.
I think
boys,
I think you're kind of right.
This
Like he kind
comment's
of wants to
great.
be like Matty Fresh, like on the XFL side, but he just can't. So,
well, because
like,
people actually support Maddie and them. Like it's a
Yeah.
good show. I watched it the other night because I was like, partially kind of nervous what they were gonna say, and I do got some news. I am cheating on you guys. I am gonna go on that show and kind of clear the air, and we're gonna.
that's okay.
gonna-
They
Let's
run a
go.
good show. They run a good show.
Yeah, like I said, they're good people, and that's why I was kind of, because I am kind of mad at Matt for calling me head case Jace, but I mean it rhymed. But I was
He
also
doesn't,
like,
he doesn't like me either.
Will you ask Maddie to be my 19th panelist though when you go on there?
I'll see what I'm not getting any of the beef because I don't know
No,
the back
I like
history
it.
of all of this. Okay, because I can't, because obviously like they said and then he said and this is the other thing, I'm gonna say this on the show with Maddie too, because my thing is like I guess I'm being super literal, but like correct me if I'm wrong. Like we're trying to promote the league and support all the players. Yes, some players can be like me and trash and troll and whatever, so they deserve jokes coming their way. Like I deserve that. But one of the jokes that he said or comments he made, it was like, I think he said it, and you already mentioned it about the Zoom, like how they're like, just like Jace or whatever, he expires in June. And I'm like, so for that joke to make sense, I'm guessing he's implying that like I'm only good in the spring leagues, like I couldn't produce or do anything in the NFL. But then I'm like, well, I'm probably there's not that many people in the UFL that are played as long as I did. So it's like you're really shitting on the league, like the players that you're supporting at the same time. Not being like super deep and like passionate right now. I'm just kind of like the irony. It's like, dude, like if you're making fun of me for not being good enough, like you're making fun of like 90% of the league because like maybe 10% are gonna. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know numbers. I'll say like 25% might get a camp invite. There's like one guy maybe might make a 53-man roster. Hopefully more. I mean, every year it's going to be the numbers are going to go up. Like I'm hoping that works.
Right.
But it's like a couple guys a lot of guys, might be 40, 50 guys get signed to training camps. 10 or 15 might get lucky to make practice squad, and then you might have a guy like DeAndre Tillman where he comes on late in camp and gets a spot, and now you guys like you might average like a handful of 53s a year. So I was just like, I get it. He, I still have a touchdown, couple touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers, but I was just like, it's kind of like you're kind of bashing your own team that you're supporting, but like,
that's exactly what it is.
So I was just like, I get it. Yeah. Like it's a he, but I was like, it's also
People
like you're making fun of everybody else too.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. They just don't love football, is what it is. It's.
But like I
whatever.
said, I took my L. I called him out. I fumbled. He won. So I gave him his victory. I'm not a sore loser, and I didn't pull the hooky card and be like, oh, I need to focus and lock in. I played bad last week because I'm distracted talking on a panel. Like, come on, I'm taking my L's like a champ. I fumbled. I cost the Birmingham Stallions a touchdown.
When you fumbled, was it going through your mind that like immediately that you knew that Maddie and people scam were going to come at you and other people, or was it?
No.
That's way too rent free.
No, it wasn't more so. That was more of like an ironic, like, damn, like that's funny as hell that they can actually say something. No, the psychopath in me keeps track of other people's numbers throughout the league, like fumbles and how many other players in my position fumble. And I know some people fumbled last week, and then when I fumbled, I'm like, damn. But then more people fumbled, so I was like, oh, well, that's still more than me. So. That's why I really do pay attention to that, because it's like I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the best I can be in the league, so we gotta push each other.
Or
try and fine tune yourself every day.
You could always be the son of a head coach,
better.
an NFL coach, and then just get put on a team.
I could do that, My dad, I did get the short end of the stick from my dad. He's 5'10", my mom's 6'1". So my dad's definitely the reason I'm only this tall.
Ooh, we got Jaren in the chat.
Oh no!
You in a few
What
weeks,
did I say? I didn't say anything bad about the
Nah.
show.
Jaren likes you. Jaren likes you. Jaren tells me don't give them any bulletin board. Don't give them any bulletin board.
I take it Jaren's a player. Is he going to meet you one-on-one on the field?
I don't need any bulletin board with Jaren either, because it's like we have to play them twice, and I'm not. Yeah, his defense, like I said, Memphis' defense is only going to keep getting better and better, and unfortunately, I think they found a really good linebacker, who I told Tez like week 1, I'm like, I know Memphis is going to be good defensively, but like what really made what made the Maulers defense go was you had that green dot, that Tez who you're watching him do it every week for us, like just controls the game, vocalizing, getting everybody where they need to be, and it's like he's that ultimate spark plug, and it's like I don't know how you replicate that, but unfortunately it looks like the Steel Chambers, it looks like or that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Steel Chambers from Ohio State.
The Ohio State. Yeah, no, that wasn't I couldn't remember if it was Steel or Stone, so I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I think they're gonna be really good. They're only gonna keep getting better.
Did the ref disappear again?
I'm trying. Don't blame me. It's the internet.
I don't know.
He's in and out of the lineup too much.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah,
now?
we can hear you and see you.
All right, good.
Ref, you had a question like 20 minutes ago, and then you froze. So.
Well, I'm going to try to go into it. It was less of a question. It was more of just pointing out that, when everybody thinks that it's doom and gloom with the Stallions now, but this is something I've seen in the past. And every year that everybody had doom and gloom about the Stallions losing one game, there was even a season, I think you lost 2, that was like the end of the world. And you know what the outcome was? A championship. So until you guys are like 5-5, I'm not too worried. I mean, and this is coming from me as a Roughnecks fan. It seems hard to see the playoffs without the Stallions in it.
I mean, I don't even think, like I said, I sound like a coach, but it's like there's so much stuff that can happen from now to week 10. Like you're like knock on wood, but it's like you're one injury away from your whole schematic, either offense or defense, is changing based off one player and some things like that. And then you never know, there might be another false start review that changed the ends of a game, and like you just never know how these games could finish. And there's just a lot of stuff that can happen from now to the playoffs. So we can cross that bridge whenever it starts getting that time. Until then, we gotta focus on the old Roughnecks, which they are new and improved. So it's gonna be a good game.
Probably your toughest competition of the season. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that Roughnecks team, CJ Johnson, now that's a coach.
I'm telling you right now, the Stallions aren't going to throw 2 interceptions and keep the same guy in, so the Roughnecks won't get that lucky.
I'm excited. My family, I get to see my kids this weekend, do a little Easter Sunday.
Nice.
I'm excited. So all right, I can ask some football questions, right? I want to get your guys' takes and see if I'm just
reverse card.
Yeah, reverse card.
Well, you guess them. I'll
This is the point of it. I mean,
shot
Jace is basically a panelist at this point, right? He's panelist number 22, I think. So.
Well, this is just an overall view of the league. Like I got a little quick pointers for each question. We can just bang these out. Whoever, it doesn't matter. I think. What we discussed last week with Michigan was very confusing again this week. Like, what was the reason for even doing all that? I was super impressed. I thought that running back, that looked good for his first run. He hit the hole really hard, super explosive. We were in meetings, so I didn't get to watch the end. I just saw the miss kick, but I know Destroying went like 5 for 5 or before that. So I think that's a good sign, right, for the league. That was a good game. How much though? Like you said, you can't discredit DC, one, because of all the adversity they've dealt with. Like, mentally, I can just imagine, like, if Coach Holtz left and then our DC left, whatever. So, like, I give him a lot of credit, like, because that would take a lot. I didn't see the St. Louis game, all 4 of the turnovers, so, like, I don't know if they were bad or not. But it's like, is DC's defense, are they elite? Or is it
They're an elite defense, and it starts with the pass rush. I mean, they've been tremendous, as you guys saw in week 1. I think their edge rushers have been ferocious and phenomenal. I mean, you got Andre
That's what it
Mintz, who's
is.
having a breakout season.
Yeah.
You brought back Malik Fisher, Derek Robertson. Like, they have legit guys on the edge. They also, what's not being talked about enough.
He's 48, right?
Yeah, 48.
Yes.
I mean, he had 2 forced fumbles. He had pressure.
That's who we said was the best one.
He's been great, but someone who's not talked about enough is number 99, Joseph Wallace, who's back. He missed most of last season with an injury, and he's a tremendous run stopper. So he's helped them out a lot. I think I think you and DC have the 2 best defenses in the league. In my opinion, Michigan's right up there, but I think right now,
get him out of
DC
here.
and Birmingham are top 2.
Michigan has the injuries right now, though. So
Michigan's injuries is why
at the moment they got to figure that out. But I also think that part of it is St. Louis. Like, I'm not discrediting, like, with Manny Wilkins, he hasn't been in these situations where the game is like, hey, you got to go down and win it. And when he has, he's tended to make some really bonehead decisions. I think he might have been concussed when he threw that last pick. He did get kicked in the head. The picture went viral of him, like, with a giant bruise on the side of his head. So I'm not going to hold that too much against him, but, like, that's something where, like, if St. Louis is going to win a championship, we need to see that, because the first 2 weeks it was like, hey, Sailors and Howard are just going to run the ball. We can rely on that, and then throw off of that, and he was super efficient. But the second it was like, hey, listen, the run game's not happening. You need to go out and make a few throws. It's just a little bit inconsistent, and it happened last year against Arlington too, where he threw 3 picks in the fourth quarter and lost a winnable game. I think this was another winnable game, but he just made some poor choices here and there and threw some really bad passes here and there.
And it's one of those things with Wilkins is his decision making has always been inconsistent in those bigger moments where I actually put out like a whole article breaking down kind of how he did this past Sunday and some of his mistakes, and it was just odd because it's like he one play he'll do the right thing. So an instance of this was they're down 18-15 and it's the fourth quarter and there's about 8 minutes left and they're 2nd and 6. He was under pressure. He rolls out. He threw the ball away. He made the smart decision. Just got rid of it. They're in field goal range, mind you. So they're down 3. They're in field goal range. 3rd and 6, the exact same thing happens. He's under pressure. He has to roll out. This time, instead of just throwing it away, he throws it across his body, and it gets picked. And they end up not getting the 3 points. So, like, it's those sorts of things where, like, if he can't correct those mistakes, St. Louis will not be a championship team because he cannot get over the hump in those big moments. Outside of that, I still think St. Louis is a good team. And their defense has been playing well, too. I mean, they had some big plays against DC to keep them in the game. And missed a couple, too. Like, Nate Metters should have had a pick 6. Quintero Cole could have had a pick 6. He just was a split second late. So
that game-winning touchdown, like, with DC, like, that could have easily been an interception.
Again,
crazy,
yeah, right.
Just gets batted up in the air. That kind of, like, that's just luck at that point,
Yeah. Living right off the field. Must be living right.
Yeah.
Things going your way, like getting those bounces. No, I was going to say, following all that, is that I think, obviously besides our defense, I think athlete for athlete, they're the most gifted at all positions, fast, physical, D-line's good. So I didn't want to negate anything because, like I said, I don't know how many turnovers we had against them. Some were caused, some were forced by them, and then I just didn't see the St. Louis turnover, so I didn't know if they were all forced or was it like you're just like, what the hell is St. Louis doing, on some of the things. But I didn't get to watch the game because we were getting back from stuff.
I do.
The interceptions was just bad reads from Wilkins. He also had a fumble, but he got like blindsided by Mintz. So like, you can't always do something about that. But the 3 picks was just he was just late going through his progressions or just tried to force the throw.
I think I'm just saying this because we just played them, but I think if anything, my prediction is that it will be them versus Arlington in the semifinals.
I still want to see a little bit more with Arlington. I think they could absolutely be there. But especially like it's that same thing that we talked about with like like for some reason Perez has been really efficient, but it feels like they haven't had like practically any explosives in the past.
And that's where the D line might be too much. I mean, like I said, they could scheme it up and they might leave the running back in and do chips, but like, I mean, just calling a spade, I don't think he advertises himself as a Adrian Martinez, like scrambler. You know what I'm saying? So any team that's going to cause those issues, that could be a problem.
And I think part of it is that that's what you had last year, where it's because Davion Smith is. I mean, we've had conversations about him and what he brings, but why he was helpful to have as RB1 last year was he is a guy that can block, and he's a bigger back that, like, you know, he could provide more protection for Luis. Whereas, like, if you have Day Hunter in there, Day Hunter brings explosiveness and is a tremendous back, but you can't expect him to block because he's so small. So I think that's been a bit of an. What was that, Nick?
They just lost a bunch of their offensive line. They lost Bobby Evans, who was all UFL.
Yep.
They
Jake
lost
Lucina.
Jake Lucina. They lost Drew Sama. That offensive line was very good last year, and that's what made Perez. You know, you need the line. It's kind of that discussion that's always had about the mobile quarterback versus, you know, the pocket passers in these league. Very rarely do you get a line that good, and that is what, you know, if you want Luis Perez at full strength and utilize that line, you need to keep him upright. And we saw against Birmingham, that's what was struggling, was like, if he's getting instant pressure, you know, he can't, you know, extend plays really. He's not that kind of athlete. So,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that's tough.
What I was gonna, I said it earlier, like in a joking manner. Obviously, you guys can, I'm giving my props to every team. I'm not gonna badmouth any teams, whatever. But I'm not waiting on a downfall, because I guess shit, they could run the table, go undefeated from here on out. St. Louis could go undefeated from here on out. But like, the biggest tell to me is like, granted, the talent level is drastically different from year 2 of the USFL, but like, the New Orleans Breakers were 3-0, rolling, beat the Birmingham Stallions, did all that good stuff. Then some adversity striked and like kind of went on a skid. I don't think DC is going to do that by any means, but I'm interested to see what happens, because every team at some point goes through unexpected adversity, and it's like they might put up 3 points a game and the defense wins it off a pick six, or, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be some type of adversity, and I guess that's going to be the tell for me. I mean, not that they're waiting on my approval by any means, like my voice doesn't mean anything, but just as a football fan, that's kind of how I judge something, because like I saw in the chat earlier, you know, the Carolina Panthers were 3-0 with Matt Rule. And then
to your credit, in 23, they pretty much ran the table. And had like almost no adversity. They lost one game to Orlando, a fluke thing, but like it was kind of similar to some of these Birmingham seasons where you lost a game late, but it was like, you know, it's not going to hurt your outlook. And then they got, you know, absolutely trounced in the championship game by Arlington, who, like, you know, was 4-6 and was the team that shouldn't have been there. So, you know, there is history with the DC team, you know, finding adversity at inopportune times. And so I agree. I hope they kind of have it's not just smooth sailing the whole way through. You almost want to, like, you don't want to be in the second half of a playoff game, and that's the first time you're facing adversity, you know.
Right. And not that they're not resilient, but I mean, like, this, we're all about to witness the same thing going on this week right now with St. Louis and Arlington. You know, say one of those teams is going to lose 2 games in a row. They went from being undefeated and now they're 2-2. So it's like, gut check. Let's see how close of a team are these guys. How do they come together? Who steps up? Because, like, you don't, nothing worse. The worst thing about being 2-2 is if you go 2-3, and then it's just like, damn, we were 2-0. Now we're 2-3. Now we're like, a lot changes week to week in this league. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, seems like a fun league.
I'm a water.
Jace, do you have any more quick points for us to go over, or what are you thinking?
No, I really just wanted to talk about DC and the Arlington game. I just think that's going to be a good matchup. That's all I wanted to bring up earlier. I was thinking about that. I keep looking to see when they play. Because everybody looks at me crazy when I say I think Arlington's one of the better teams in the XFL. I just think they don't. They're just hard to match up with.
I mean, their defense has vastly improved this year. Their DBs are playing really, really well. And the offense has looked.
DBs
I don't want to say better,
great.
but
they're punching the ball out. They're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are punching the ball out. Yeah.
They got Cooper DeJean in the secondary. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
man.
who we haven't talked about, like, all this entire show? Are the Brahmas. Because they fucking suck.
Dude. Look, I
showed
think the
signs of
Brahmas.
life this week.
I think the Brahmas.
Zach put in his notes right here. He said they're so bad. Of course, refs law was broken this week. He said I was never doubting.
You know,
That's a weird situation.
Quit signing a YouTuber as a kicker. You might win a game.
Is his name destroying like Stingray Rob? Like, did his parents name him that? I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up here.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it's just his
personally,
YouTuber handle.
What's his real name then? Is it is
Donald Delahaye Jr.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm used to guys like Stingray or Billy Ray, and I just thought that maybe he actually was one of these kooky Gen Z names.
No, I don't think it's on his birth certificate. But on a serious note, I did think San Antonio showed some life this week. I thought their defense played a little bit better. The offense looked better. When they give Anthony McFarland the ball, they look better. But you also take into consideration Peyton Pardee. This is his first offensive coordinator stint. The team looked better, and not to mention, Wade Phillips didn't coach at all in that game. He was in the locker room the entire time because he's sick. So Peyton Pardee was basically not just thrown into being an offensive coordinator, but also was the interim head coach in that game. So taking that into consideration, I got to give San Antonio some flowers. I got to give Peyton Pardee some flowers. They played the best football they played this year so far. So they've got something to build off of now.
Yeah, their competition, though. Who are they playing?
Themselves, because they have Destroying on their team.
I feel like I have to stand up for D here a little bit.
There's no standing up for him. You stand up, stand way over to the left. That way his ball.
You sit down for him.
He hit a 55-yarder though. I mean,
Yeah, he did.
and then missed a 53-yarder, wide left.
I think the
As an
first
Ohio
part,
State fan, I felt like I was watching Noah Ruggles.
Did he TikTok his way up to the kick? I didn't watch as much of the game, so I
He wasn't even practicing the kick on the sidelines whenever he was about to do
He
it.
had faith in
He's
the
over there.
offense. He had faith in the offense.
He was over there talking to the cameras and stuff. And it's like, dude, you're about to be kicking a game winner here. Like, what are you doing talking to the camera? Go practice your damn kick.
well,
Every
a
kicker
really good
in every
point.
league does that.
A really good point that I don't know if any of y'all follow Isaac Punts on Twitter, but and I know he has a YouTube channel. He just tracks a bunch of specialists, and he's got really good specialist content. Anyway, his point was that D has not actually really been a professional, so he doesn't have a routine. Like a lot of the time, like you ask these guys about whether it's like Luis Aguilar when he had all those game winners when he went 8 for 8. I know everybody was asking him about what does his routine look like, or Jake Bates, what does your routine look like heading into a kick like that? D does not have a routine because he's not been a professional up until this year, basically. And sure, he was last year, but he didn't kick any field goals. He was there for 2 weeks, and then he broke his neck. So,
but Bates was a kickoff specialist at Arkansas. He didn't do anything, so that's not an excuse. But Bates had a routine.
No. What I'm saying is D.
Point.
I think
Good point.
I think what
Jake
I'm saying
Bates
is I think
missed a game
D's
winner last year. That's part of it too. Against
Jake, the
Birmingham,
point-
right?
Yeah, well, he missed a
know.
few.
Well,
It
you know.
happens.
And Michigan excuse.
Jake, the
it's
point I was making
13-10.
was that D shows some immaturity this week in the sense that he does not have any sort of routine, especially for those sorts of situations. That was the point I was making.
I think the most routine thing he's done.
But shouldn't Pardee have
His wife
told
left.
him, hey, you need a routine? Like, isn't
Hey,
that
if
kinda hard
Peyton
being
was
special
still
teams
doing
coach
his
to-
job as special teams coordinator, sure, but now he's
I've seen his Project
you
NFL
also
videos. He
got-
probably was just focused on those. I think that was the thing that was
mean,
going on there.
You got his other kicker, Brad. You know what I'm saying? Brad's been in the game a while. He probably could have dropped some wisdom, like, hey, you might want to warm up a little bit, like at least go through the motions at least. Like the TV's on you, they're gonna be watching you.
All needs an opportunity, right? Yeah, opportunity.
well.
Wide left. Wide.
Hey, you
I'm
can't be
debating.
too mad at him. He was, he defeated refs law, and
Dude.
that has to stand for something.
I think
irks
Zach
me
will
the
be mad
most
if you're keep
is the
saying
people
that
in
he
the
defeated
comments
something.
on like Twitter and stuff. They're like, well, if the offense just got him closer, and it's like, an NFL scout's not going to look at that. Well, if the offense put him at the perfect spot, he would have made it. It's like, well, if the offense was perfect, they would have had 6 points and not 3.
Well, you don't even know that. McCrane missed a 27-yarder yesterday, so.
That's
That
just
was-
simple
yeah,
math.
I did see that. That was crazy. I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, St. Louis might win this, but they overcame it. So I was like, yeah.
I think the reality is. Oh, sorry, Jason, didn't mean to get you off there.
No, it wasn't nothing important. It wasn't important.
I think we've, when it comes to kicking, are a little bit like we need to like rein it back in a little bit because we've, especially in the UFL, we've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, the amount of 60-yarders, like we forget 60 yards is like not normal. It doesn't happen a lot. And 53-yard field goal is difficult. Obviously, it was a really bad miss, and obviously it lost them the game. But to act like that 53-yarder is a gimme is like there are guys who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars that are gonna miss that kick as well. It happens. You know, that's just life as a kicker.
Twice within 3 games.
The other one was 58. That one was a complete prayer ball. Left. You know, and so, you know, I think, you know, he shows signs. Certainly he's been great on the kickoffs. He's been, you know, dynamite under 50. I mean, Brandon Aubrey was 0 for 3 over 50 while he was a Stallions, and he's the best kicker in the NFL right now. Like, this is a hard thing, and I get that, like, D is constantly have the camera on him. He's the, you know, the celebrity, and so, you know, that comes with good and that comes with bad, and so people are going to get on him more than anyone else because of that. But for me, it's like, this is just what being a kicker is. You're not going to make them all, and especially with 50 plus, that's really difficult. You see it's there, and it's a developmental league too. That's the other half of it, is like he's developing. You know, he's not, you know, expecting him to be perfect is not reasonable.
Well, how far was the kick last year that Jake Bates made? It was like
64.
64. Yeah, like he made that one with butter, but then to beat us, you know, he missed. So it's like it all varies.
Well, that's what happens when you're indoor and then you're outdoor.
That dude hit a 64-yarder. That's pretty crazy.
Didn't he have like a better percentage at the end of the season outdoor than he did indoor though?
Yes.
Jake?
Yeah, because he started missing some in Ford Field, so.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I totally understand that when he missed it, it was like, oh, you know, that's going to come with it. You know, he's a celebrity and he's going to get pushed back, just like Jace got pushed back when he fumbles on the 1-yard line. It happens.
Well, he meant to do that. It was
I had a buddy of mine tell me Destroying's the best player in the league.
You asked me if I had anything to talk about. We haven't even talked about, like, I feel like the most talked about topic of the week that happened to the game. I mean, I made a little joke about it, but, like, let's be honest. Like, what y'all think?
The freaking penalty.
Like, come on. Like, what happened? What's the deal? Like, are we on that?
I keep telling everybody that's what happens in the 2 minutes. It's happened since game 1. They review every single play that happens in the 2 minutes. You can't be mad at it.
I thought we were 1-2. I'm on the bench. I was like, damn, we just lost. Like, and then they're like, offense, you're back out there. I'm like, oh, I said, I went to the hell. I said, damn, they gave us another chance. And then when I saw Marlon catch that ball, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, we're about to win this. This is crazy.
That was like a race.
And Marlon got freaking folded on that, too. That was an incredible
That's what I'm
catch.
saying. It's like, they were talking after the game, oh, y'all got lucky. Y'all, yeah. Like, dude, needless to say, was the football gods on our side in the fourth quarter? Yes. Were they on us on any of those pass interference calls or any of the OPI on Jordan Thomas while he's getting like, there was a lot of holding both ways. We're not innocent, but like, let's not act like we were playing, you know, brothers of the Christ or whoever it was. Like, they weren't innocent either. Like, it was going back and forth. They had the ball for 34 minutes. Like, they didn't. It's their fault that they only had 9 points. Like,
I mean, they didn't stop you on a 4th and 11, and they had more time to stop you. It wasn't like the very next play was the game winner for you guys. Like, and they had no time. So like, everybody gets screwed on calls. Like, it isn't the first time that a bad call is saved in offense one way or the other. So
I mean, it was the right call. It was just really unfortunate timing. You know, it's like, wow, they just won the game, and oh wait, you didn't. Right. It's happened before. I mean, it happened to a lesser extent to DC.
I mean, it kind of happened with Houston and Memphis whenever they were converting their 4th and 12.
Yeah.
It happened with them too.
Yes, they talk about, like, when I say they, I'm referring to like some of the Arlington people. It was like, oh well, it wasn't false start or this and that. And it's like, dude, if you watch the film, 5 of the Arlington guys stand up right before the play, and they're all pointing at him like,
yeah.
you know how loud it is
Yep.
in protective field. They couldn't hear anything. The refs could they didn't know. That's why they all stopped. They were like, "What the heck? This is a flag."
And once
So,
everybody sees that, they don't play at 100. Once they see other guys giving up, everybody else goes down. So that play, obviously, it wasn't called dead. It should have been called dead, but it should have been reversed.
yeah,
Hey, you can never give up.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is that it wasn't called dead originally, which is like it should have been so obvious that it should have been called.
but it's like,
But
I mean, they're
But
talking.
that's
I
what
see
the 2-minute replay thing is for. So.
boys on Twitter talking about, "Oh, they got cheated for real. They got cheated." We really didn't. We really shot ourselves in the foot, and then you just didn't make the most of it. And I'm saying this in very well in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We could be on the other end of it, Birmingham. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a huge stop. They super challenge or do something on a PI or something, and then it's like, I know it works both ways. So it's like, I was just glad I was on the good side this time.
It'll
I
probably
mean,
happen when you guys play Memphis. So.
I mean,
Exactly,
the Chiefs get all the
Memphis might.
calls in the NFL. The Stallions
That's
get
what
all
it-
the calls in the
Yeah,
UFL. I
that's
mean,
what
it's
I'm
just
like,
kind of
we're
how
not
it
start-
goes.
we're
You
not
know?
Yeah, I mean,
starting that
Hendrick gets
narrative.
all the calls in NASCAR too. You know, it just happens like that.
I'm willing to bet that we had more penalty yards than Arlington too. Just like when, ref, we haven't even discussed this before. But when I got ejected from the Houston Roughnecks, or my bad, Gamblers game, my year one of the USFL when we had 15 penalties and Houston had 0.
I remember this.
Yeah, I'm taking that to the grave. That's why that's why I'll never regret me being head case Jace and getting ejected for that game. Because anytime you guys see me freaking out on the sidelines or yelling, I promise you, 99% of the time, it's because I'm going brother bear and protecting my teammates and sticking up for them without they're not asking me to. It's like, "Oh, Jace, come say it." No, it's like I see someone talking crazy to my teammates, like last year in the Michigan where they were showing my face of me screaming. And we've talked after the game, Nate's one of my friends, but he was talking crazy, acting crazy, trying to fight, do all this stuff after the game. And one of our O linemen, who's the nicest guys in the world, I'm breaking that up. But yeah, me, I'm pale, I got red head, I'm huge, and I'm screaming, so my face, I stick out. I can't hide. Never been able to. So I'm sticking out the TV, catching me who's this tomato yelling at this guy? Like I said, everything it looks like I'm always being the crash out and starting fights. If I gave you the context, I'm when I got ejected at the Houston game, I told the ref, I was letting him know that he did a very bad job and that it was crazy that he was costing it was crazy that he would cost my teammates the opportunity to have a chance to win the game. And then he told me, "All right, you don't need to talk and then I wasn't mic'd up for 2 weeks. They took my mic off.
I told him he was doing a very bad job.
I just
I'm
got
sure
my
that's
mic
exactly how that went.
I just got my
Ref, can you
microphone
confirm?
privileges back this week.
Confirmed. No, I will say there was a moment during this game, the Stallions game this weekend, when Skip was on the sidelines and the ref told him that he could challenge it. And he said, "Challenge it?" He says, "That's your job. You're the ref to see these things on the field." And I think it ended up getting reviewed. I think Dean got on, "All right, man, fix this one." Because, Skip had a point. I can't remember what the call was, but there was something. He's like, "What do you mean challenge it? You're the ref."
Yeah, if you're telling a coach to challenge it, that means you saw something and you should be calling it. Don't make them waste their super challenge.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about the super challenge, because there are I think it was the Houston Memphis game. There was something that needed to be super challenged in the first half. It was worthy of it, but it's that sucks that you can't do anything about it in the fourth quarter, because I think there was, or maybe it was yesterday, the DC game. Both teams had opportunities to use this. They could have used a super challenge in the fourth quarter, but they had burned them. And I'm just there's got to be either it resets or you automatically get one per half. And I get that might be greedy,
That's
but
what it should be.
It's not really
one
fair.
per half.
It's not really fair. Or maybe they do it is if you get two, but if you get ignorant and you use that first super challenge early and you don't get it, then you lose your second one. I know you get rewarded. I know you get to maintain it, but it's all it does is take away a timeout. So therefore, it's okay, I could use it, could not, but I guess that's kind of the same thing.
Memphis. They
But
could
it's
use that timeout.
Because who was the one who did someone challenged something? I'm not bad. I'm not bad mouthing him. It was a worthy challenge, I guess. last week, I think it was the Arlington Houston game. I think he challenged something that wasn't even close, and it's like, all right, well, you just did that because you had nothing else to lose. So, or it was Memphis on the 2-point conversion, him getting held. Like, you really had nothing to lose there. So, I mean, I get the challenge, but
Yeah.
like if you do that early in the game, then obviously I don't think you should be allowed to do one again. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I'm sure they'll change it as people give their input on it and stuff like that. That's what this league's about, you know, changing stuff up, seeing how it works. So, I like the Super Challenge personally. I think it's a great
I love
thing.
it.
I
think
if
think how many NFL games it would change just in the last
Yes.
like years in the playoffs. How many it would have could
It's
have.
like
Imagine
how
if
it's anything like
The
DPI,
Saints could.
OPI.
This Sean McVay never goes to a Super Bowl.
yeah, Saints would have been in it that year.
Saints go.
That
to
was
mean,
the
he
only
went to
Super Bowl.
2.
2 minutes though,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say
'Cause
he. I was gonna
wouldn't
say
be
he
able-
won one out. He won one after that, so I take that back. But yeah, never. Yeah, maybe it's we get a. Was Drew Brees still the quarterback then?
Yeah, it was
be
Drew
yeah,
Brees.
we got a Tom Brady, Drew Brees Super Bowl. That would have been cool.
Yeah,
Dave
Drew
Ross
gets
is
Drew.
James-
that.
James
down.
Bradbury. Do they call that on Juju Smith-Schuster? Does Jalen Hurts have 2 rings? Who knows?
See you, Thorne.
It's good questions to ask. But I don't know. Does anyone else have any final thoughts here? Jace, you've been on with us for this might be the longest time I've ever had a guest on. He's basically a panelist at this point. I think.
I was about to say, next time you're on, just come on at 6.
I mean, I was watching since 6, but I was like I said, I had lidocaine on my hands, and I've just been punching the wall as punishment to strengthen my hands.
Hey,
Man, you
don't
and I-
forget
hey.
today's sponsor of this show.
Stick
Yeah,
'em. The stuff
That's what I
that
said.
doesn't.
I had been. I've been sitting on my hands at hours at a time, then catching jugs off the football machine.
Dude, if you can get to your social person, I don't know who it is, but you need to tell them that they need to post you with duct tape and footballs around your hands. I feel like that would just go insane on Twitter.
You would think. I miss our Fox socialists.
Yeah, I've seen
You
a
have
lot
socialists
online.
working with you?
Yeah, so I said
You
socialists.
should probably
I'm
report
like,
them to the U.S. government.
Yeah, I was like, I said socialists. I'm like, hold
The
on, Dave.
UFL.
I was
It's
like-
a socialist society.
I was like, people are about to start thinking you're in politics. I was like, let's rephrase
And
that
that's
word.
getting clipped. No, but
Yeah. All right. Now it's gonna be like Jace isn't focused about football. More worried about 2020.
Oh no! Someone I hear
Next
banging.
week,
I think a
Jace can't
socialist is
join
breaking
us.
into the room.
He's gonna
Yeah.
be Bernie's running mate.
Yeah, you guys just see me in the White House next week getting in trouble or something.
no, but you're right. The social teams, I don't know what they're doing this year. DC, I mean, I feel like they're doing a good job because like
I wonder why you think that.
I mean, yeah, toot my own horn here, but like they're interacting with the fan. It's not just me. I went and looked at their replies. It's many people they're replying to, but like
I think you said it though. The UFL on Fox is a good. I like them. They're not bad to me at all.
oh, their whole entire like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but like I have like 69 following on Twitter, and I always keep it that. So if you're part of the 69, you're a special person. I want to unfollow the UFL's page and then follow the UFL on Fox page because I feel like they do a better job of like posting funny stuff. Like I like the serious stuff, but like I feel like they're just better at the puns and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like it's just more well put together. Yeah, but I like DC and what they're doing. They give a little bit of fan interaction, you know, stuff like that. But the other teams are just I don't even know if they have people on their teams.
I got in trouble last year by our social team and like our PR because of what I commented something on like the Memphis Showboats, what they posted last year. Like it was something of them doing like some warm up drills, but like he butchered the quote. Like I can't even like. I'll have to go. I'll send.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I remember because yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
I'll find it from last. I'll find it at some point, but I can't remember what it says. But like, it sounded like you're trying to. Yeah, I don't even know who. I was just like, what did they just say?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It reminds me of that one quote, the bowling guy, where he's like, "Who do you think you are? I am." He just butchered the entire quote.
Yeah, you're like, all right, alrighty.
Did you guys see what Deion Sanders tweeted out today? I don't know if that, we allow
coming,
that on the
if
show.
he comes, that he's coming.
Yeah, if he comes, then he's gonna come or something like that. If he says they're coming, they're gonna come.
I'm clipping that.
Oh, come on.
Sign him
Ref,
up.
pull
all
it
right.
up. Pull it up. Pull it up. This
See
show's
if
gone
my
off the
internet
rails.
will last long enough.
Hey, it's after 7. This is ATU After Dark. Sorry,
We can't get fined
Easter-
at this point.
Eastern
Could you
time.
link it in the chat? Where is this?
I got you. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy to find, but I'll link it.
Jason's about to
Sorry,
get told. No more ATU. No more. You know,
Yeah.
actually, shut that whole entire stuff down.
Focus on catching the ball.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna get in trouble by Daryl this week. He's like, hey, you know what? I know you think you're funny, but no more.
Daryl
We're a
seem like a
socialist
funny
society
guy.
over here.
No, I
Daryl's a
love
good guy.
Daryl. I love Daryl, and
Yeah.
I didn't. At first, it was just not anti him, but it was like, oh, the league, like in our heads, the league hated us. So in Birmingham, we were like, oh, they don't want us to win. They want us to fine us. And then the Houston game happened with all the penalties, and so I was like anti Daryl. But then like I realized who he was, and like he's actually an awesome dude. And I was like, now I'm like the 10 toes for my guy Daryl.
Yeah, it's he brings a lot of he keeps the seriousness in the league. Like he doesn't make it like
I feel like he deals with
bush
a lot
league.
of bull crap that nobody sees behind closed doors from like other companies and the stuff he deals with, and it's like, and then he still broadcasts games, and I think that's just super impressive. If they come, they're coming.
Words to live by.
Sorry, my internet is so crap, but I got it up on the screen.
just like Houston.
We'll see about that. I'm not
Oh,
going
we
to talk
already
about
saw.
this weekend's game. What do you mean, saw? We won this weekend.
I know.
Yeah.
No, you guys didn't win. Memphis lost. Houston didn't win.
Here's some Kool-Aid for you. It's clear version of
It's Everclear.
yeah.
Saratoga.
It's my favorite flavor of Kool-Aid, Everclear.
Yeah,
All
Jace,
the
what's
kids
your
are
morning
drinking it
routine?
these days.
My morning routine. After I've already woke up and done 300 push-ups, I like to run a couple of miles. I like to run a couple of blocks around the neighborhood. I pick up fresh eggs for all the neighbors, drop them off at their houses, and then go into the office at 8:30. And I'm not a breakfast guy. I'm a breakfast shake. I drink my little protein shake because they feed us. We get our lunch at like 11, so get there at 8:30, do meetings, have a little snack, and then I'm not a coffee guy either. So
You guys,
just raw dogging through life.
Well, when you're
That's
dunking
so
your
real.
head in
I'm
the
not a coffee
water-
drinker either.
I'm putting that on a T-shirt. You guys dip your head in like water bowls or anything?
You don't need coffee at that point, you know.
At
No,
7
like-
a.m., I sell my truck to the local neighbor.
Just like me and Jet, we dip it in there. I just drench it in Everclear, not water.
Oh yeah. I live the high life,
I think
and I
that's
also
actually
advise
like
that lifestyle.
chemical burn territory if you actually did that.
Yeah, I mean that's how it gets clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
I mean,
hair
what do you
was
think
not
this
red.
is?
The Everclear turned it red.
Yeah, I was an.
Why do you think I'm so jazzed to be on this show?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, where do we go from
best.
here, guys?
End
Ref.
the show probably.
I mean, I'm just hoping my internet stays connected at this point. What did I miss? No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about? We went over the power rankings. We went over everything, did we not? Well, here's what I need everyone to do.
Predictions.
Predictions. Do we need to do predictions? I guess we could do predictions. Let's pull up the
Slightly. Just
Well,
what about
yes and no,
upsets?
because we're doing our game picks
Oh, I
graphic
forget
now.
about
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Save that. So probably I don't know, when are we putting that out? Friday? Friday.
Probably,
Check the
hopefully Thursday
socials.
this time. Jake can
Probably
be a little bit
Thursday.
quicker
It's
on
gonna
the
be
graphic.
Thursday.
Well, I have the template made, so it's there. Like it's ready to go.
am I at the top now?
No.
Is that your request?
Dude, I won. I mean, I feel like
You won.
I did.
There's
I
no
mean,
winning or losing.
3-1, man.
Anyway,
I'll
here's
keep
what everyone.
This is
throwing
more of an
Up.
endurance race, I think, and not a drag race, sir.
You guys should see me in the PFN staff chat. I'm just typing in there, hounding everybody. I'm number one. And then next week it's just gonna go down the crapper. But like, I'm number one right now.
Hey, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But here's what everyone else can do. If everyone else wants to feel like number one, you really want to feel like the number one guy, the top guy, big boss, subscribe, click the bell. It builds morale. It lets you know when we're live, just like Monday nights, just like now, just like when we do summer stock and spring stock and everything else. It also lets you know when we drop new videos that aren't live. I don't know. I think that's it. Social media, you guys know where to follow us at Around the UFL, at PF Newsroom, at UFL Newsroom. I think that's it. Any other final thoughts from anyone? Who sucks this week? Yeah,
HVAC Dad 85 had something to say.
Hold on, let me pull up the chat here.
I don't know if you want to put that on, but
I can't find it. And is it the?
It's in there. I'm sure the people can read the chat.
Okay. Well, you guys saw the chat, so I think that's it, guys. So until next time, sign you all up.
Michigan sucks.
There you go. Oh boy, sorry, my internet was like fucking real shit today. Guys.
I love how Jace is still with us post show.
Just grinding.
This is the real show right here.
Hey, well, James said I was acting like my teammate who just dipped off. We're not live anymore, right?
No, let me just verify that actually real quick because there have been times.
Yeah.
I've been there a time or two.
No, yeah, looks like we're good.
We're good? Okay.
Jace, when you were talking about how you couldn't find a football, I was hoping there would be a moment of silence I could get in and say, "Yeah, you left it at the 1 yard line," but I couldn't.
My God.
I couldn't fit it. Like people were talking over each other,